Hi, it's John Romita Jr. at San Diego Comic-Con. Fantastic Comics in Berkeley is the best shop in the world, hands down.
Tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. It's been 3 long years. Do ya still want me? If I don't see a ribbon round the old oak tree, I'll stay on the bus, forget about us, put the blame on me.
Did you know that every 7 minutes a black person is born in this country without soul? Hello, I'm B.B. King. Won't you help Don Simmons and the thousands of others that suffer from this tragic disorder? Its cruel symptoms can strike anyone. Let's take a look.
I think the Republican Party has done one heck of a job. Don't you, June?
I'll say, Ward, we Republicans have turned this country around.
Safety and good mileage are the 2 things I looked for in a new car. That's why I bought a Volvo station wagon.
Hi, I'm president of the David Hartman fan club here in Glendale. I've even met David Hartman once. What a neat guy.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cherry. A sweep is as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheroo. Good luck will rub off when I shake hands with you.
This is B.B. King saying, won't you please give, so that Don Simmons here and so many others can become useful members of society.
Or below me a kiss, and that's lucky too.
Right to Blacks Without Soul. Post Office Box 1305A, Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you.
Dan, Klaus! I really identified with the girls in Ghost World. They made me feel like I wasn't so alone.
Yeah, whatever. Do you know anyone who works at Batman? 'Cause I really want to draw Batman. I'm awesome at utility belts. Check these out. This is where the Batman keeps his money, in case he has to take the bus.
Well, I've been working on a thing. It's sort of like Stummies.
Go on. I like what I hear so far.
It's exactly like Stummies.
And the twist is?
It's a much bigger pill.
I like a lot. Is it ready for production?
Yes, sir. It's ready to go.
Yeah, but have there been any side effects?
Yes, sir. A few side effects.
Well, that's okay. As long as there's no flipper babies, right, Don?
Well, there have been a few flipper babies.
The memories I'll never lose. 1,000 things I'll never use. I should throw them all away. But not today.
In the bedroom, there's a touch of roses in the air. But when I turn to find her, she's never really there.
And another thing, Vonnegut, I'm going to stop payment on a check. What's that? Fuck me. Hey, Kurt, you read lips? Fuck you! Next time I'll call Robert Ludlow.
Remember the first time I saw your bike? You were riding past my house and I came running out to tell you how much I liked it even way back then?
I love that story.
We think the monkey's 100% right. We're spending so much money, millions of dollars to blow up the moon, when there's so much right here on Earth to blow up. Mount Everest, the North Pole, etc. We're Earthlings. Let's blow up Earth things. We're Earthlings. Let's blow up Earth things.
Well, haven't you anything to say? Anything? Out of sheer honesty?
Yes, I would just love a duck dinner.
Lip balm?
I like cream pies as much as the next guy.
Oh, don't say it out loud.
Oh, okay. Let me make a cream pie for you, okay? Then you can try it. See what you think.
I do not want to taste your cream pie.
They taste great. I can guarantee it.
You've tasted yours?
Of course I have. Haven't you?
No.
I've tasted mine. I didn't like it.
I've tasted mine, yeah.
I liked mine.
For shame, Doc. Hunting rabbits with an elephant gun.
Elephant gun?
That's right, Doc. So why don't you go shoot yourself an elephant? You do, and I'll give you such a pinch!
We're going to start our volleys. We hope you like the show. Everything is ready. We're raring to go. We'll give you all the latest songs and then we'll pull up them. We're gonna start with high jump. Just watch this chorus steps.
Originally settled as Ocean View during the 1850s, the city's population boomed with displaced
But in my own way, I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
Good evening. Welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents, our 206th get-together every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Customer complaints. Well, we're not going to talk about that too much. We'll get into it in just a little bit. For those of you that are new here, we aren't just a show about comic books. I'm not just a host talking about comic books.
My name is
Yule Carter, comic book retailer in Berkeley, California.
That's right. I'm a retailer in Berkeley, California, and it is chilly right now. But not so chilly, I need to wear a beanie. You see. I talk all about comic books and things that are going on in comic books, and it's all from my store's point of view. But sometimes I also listen to stuff that's going on outside of comics, and some of the things that are going outside of comics. But I don't usually bring that in too often unless we have a special guest, and we do not. So we're going to talk about all sorts of things. But first, if you're interested in coming by my store, it will be me working there. I'm there every Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 5 p.m. I do everything from ordering to reading to trying to sell to people, sell the things to people that people will enjoy, and maybe trying to branch them out into something else that won't waste their time. If you're at all interested in saying something, I think I'm going to have a lot of stuff, and I'm going to try and jam it pack really hard in this show. And that would be a function for the super chat, because I'm not going to be able to read every comment. So if you have something important right now, like, comics that you read that you're really into, something that's coming up, and we're going to get to them in just a few moments. But we also talk about things that people tell me or talk about in the store. And one of those things is something that some people might not necessarily consider comic book-y, but I assure you, it most definitely is. All right, the Wrestling Minute. This is going to be a real quick one. I do have a couple of clips, though. Let's talk about WWE first. They got SummerSlam coming. It's like 2 weeks away. There's injuries going on right now. On Friday Night SmackDown, Austin Theory versus Carmelo Carmelo Hayes had a really good match going. Austin Theory's an up-and-comer, so is Carmelo. And there was a move that I couldn't really tell who got hurt on, but it seems like both of them did. And maybe Austin Theory worse, and there was like neck and heads kind of injury, it looks like. At least face. And they stopped the match immediately. It was not a work. Another person that got injured. Seth Rollins, but he's the champion. And you just had to know that going against Jinder Mahal was possibly going to be a bad thing. And it has turned out to be. So he's hurt his knee legitimately. So we'll see where that goes. Get well and hopefully soon. But you're going to have a match coming up. And I don't even remember who it's with. There was an event. New Japan was in San Jose, and one of my customers went to it. I might have had actually another customer that went to it for all I know. It's called Battle in the Valley, and there was a big reveal. Something happened, and it got everybody talking. Shota Umino. I don't know this guy. He's like it doesn't matter. He had finished his match. I think he won. He was outside in the crowd, and this happened. So hopefully you can hear me. Oh, my goodness. Thankfully, that person was there to stop him for that selfie. And a really, really, really bad reveal on who it was. You'll see the camera go farther away. Oh, wait, who is that? Well, don't worry. I clipped it. And this is who it was in the ring, making the big, spectacular move, the Shining Wizard or something of sorts. The running knee took him out. Oh my goodness! Do you all know who that is? Do you see? It's a grizzled. See, I shaved because I do want to look younger. But this guy is baby faced and wants to look heelish. and he does one of the most heelish things that a person could possibly do. He is in another person's ring. And thankfully, he didn't have a belt to piss on in the middle of it, but he did have this. Now, I don't know if this is actually legally binding. I am very appreciative that he showed the hard camera, and we all can see his AEW contract. I can't see his signature. It's kind of, anyway, he ripped it, at least a corner of it. That's Jungle Boy Jack Evans. Jack, what's his name? Jack something. Perry. Jungle Jack Perry. Luke Perry, R.I.P., his son. I thought he looked pretty good, actually. Anyway, that's your wrestling minute. Do you buy it, though? Really? I mean, does anybody know? Did anybody pay attention in New Japan? Are you so invested with AEW that you're watching New Japan for this very historic angle? It's not even that historic. MJF, after he lost the bet, was taken off your site. This is so typical of them to run two of the same effing angles kind of at the same time. I'm leaving the company. You got taken away from the company. Either they're real or they're works. And if they're works, you're doing it. Don't do two at the same time. That's something you should learn from the WWE. Let me get rid of these videos so I don't forget to get some space. We're going to talk about, well, let me run the banner real quick so y'all know about my store, Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 5 p.m. Call ahead if you're going to be a little late. I'm going to probably be sticking around. Transformers number 2 variant spin. We're going to do 2 spins. I'll explain the spins in just a moment. Let me get that up actually right now while we're talking about that. But the 2 spins are going to go down to a final round. And that final round is going to decide who is going to win this Transformers variant cover. I'm not sure if I actually brought it up for this. Let me see. Anyway, it really doesn't matter. I got it up. Why don't we go right to it? I mean, this is exciting. Well, you know what? Actually, before that, we should do this. Let's go in order. This is a better thing to do. We should keep a little bit of consistency.
Hello. 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 Oh. Go. Look out. Hello.
Hello. I'm not reading all of Eric's posts. Some of them are ridiculous and rambling. But the first one. I know what upsets my LCS owner when I come in eating a steak bomb submarine sandwich. This would be true. Eating really is a good way to get someone upset. And pick up the new releases, any releases, anything. It doesn't matter. Without wiping my hands off first. Without wiping? What are you wiping with? What steak bomb sandwich submarine? That sounds messy. Keep it outside. You can hang out. Gizmo. All right. And then he has more. Yo. Fantinium says, what's up, store owners? People who roughly leaf through comics while bending the corners. Well, you don't like that. I understand. But that's what a poll system's for, right, everybody? The only dog ears I want to see at Fantastic Comics are the ones that belong to Gizmo. Why, you mean like this? Gizmo in a box. Oh, isn't that great? Let me take a sip here. Gizmo in a box. Actually, this might be too long. So let me, too big. So let me just do this. I'm going to talk over it. Look at Gizmo. He was chunkier there. I mean, I think everybody can agree that this is a much chunkier version. Granted, he has the harness on, but it looks like it's, I don't know, it's different dog. Even still, his hair's a little bit longer. But look at Cutie. Look at that cutie. Oh, Gizmo. All right. Can you hear me when I'm doing that? All right, going back to your comments. Let's see. Joby Pills in the other room. Lane Kramer. Hey, everyone. Oh, also, we have a poll. Would you all be here, the 16 or plus people that are in here? Would you still be here if we started at 7? Sports events sometimes end, and some people like those. Maybe 8 o'clock's good. Is it too long or too late for you? Or I know there's so many other comic book shows going on right now, and they're drama farming. But I'm going to be talking about CGC and shitty customers. So if you can't drama farm off this, I don't know anybody who can't. Dwayne Muth. Hello, Yule and everyone in the chatosphere. Why, hello, Dwayne. Illithid Lore. In the past, I've been able to tune in earlier for stream, but my new shift won't allow for it. Well, so you want to be later. Jimmy T. How you doing, buddy? Let's see. California chili. Yeah, that's true, Lane. Meanwhile, it's 19 in Connecticut. Illithid Lore says, holy shit. Let's see. What? I don't understand. Aaron Sparrow's Christmas tree. He still has one up. He leaves his up till like July, I think, right? He should just go ahead and get, if he has enough space, get a real one and then get rid of it. There's farms where you can take it and then the goats will eat it and shit. So, you can make really good use of that. And you get to go see goats. Jinder is still the most over wrestler Tony Khan has ever booked. Oh, it's so true. You mean Royal Rumble is like 2 weeks away, not SummerSlam? Did I say SummerSlam? I meant Summer's Fest. It can happen to the best of us, and it can happen to that dude from Mad Men. Sacrificers was really good last week, but Transformers freaking next level, or next freaking level. Like Rollins. I read Sacrificers. Oh, we have to have a break. I didn't have no Matt Riddle. Let's see. Wolverine was dookie poopy. So between the Sabretooth Warrior and making Hood Ghost Rider, Marvel is looking to save me $8 a month. Well, that's only because they charge that much or more. I sold out of Wolverine. We'll be talking about Best of Last Week in a moment. Not near Mint. Oh my God, I miss Mankind. His wife misses Mankind. Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining us. Jack Perry, LOL. Not Jungle Boy who got punk fired. Well, he hasn't been on AEW since that. So maybe the feeling's mutual. Ninja Pan works with AEW, so it's 100% of work. I don't disagree. What I'm saying is, like, there's a funnel, right? You got this many people that pay attention, and they play so much of the internet angle and care about Twitter more than almost any other company, and it just doesn't feel like it's working out. Supposedly last year they lost like 34 million. The game didn't do so well. They sunk a lot of money into it. People aren't happy. Patches suck and they cost a lot. So it's typical. A game comes out, it ain't that good. And then they gotta patch it up and offer all this other stuff, but there's always money involved. It's like buying another comic in another event. Oh yeah, and he also had a scapegoat. Okay, so yeah, he had a scapegoat armband, and that's all I pretty much forgot. Okay, can you keep up with you guys? Punk got paid by Tony, and then a massive payday from WWE, so it worked out for everyone involved. But Tony loves paying money. So you still gonna have an Ultimate Spider-Man for Mr. Yule when you're gonna get it back in? For Mr. Lane, you mean? I think you don't want to talk in that third person. Leonard Pig. Hello, Leonard Pig. welcome to the show. Do you think the new Ultimate Spidey lived up to the hype? Well, let's talk about last week's comics in a segment I like to call Best of Last Week. We're going to get right to it. I got the pictures already up, and then right after this, we're going to do the first 2 rounds of the Transformers 1 in 50 spin, and I'm going to tell you how you could have been a contestant in this. Let me just do this so that I can Wheel of Names. All right, got it. All right, so first up, we're going to get to Best of Last Week. And first up, we got 6, actually. Sometimes it's something I've read and like, something I'm really pushing, something that was just a standout sellout. And first up, a standout sellout, Rise of the Powers of X. Most people are liking this more than the Fall of the Powers of X, or whatever the fuck they're calling it. Oh, darn. Try not to say the F word as much. Well, I guess it's 1 and I said the F'ing. Anyway, Rise of the Powers of X. I liked that other one, and this one was pretty good too. Good art. Let's see. Best of Last Week. Green Lantern number 7. I told you all last week that I liked it, and it was still really good. The art was nice, and although I saw some people pooping on Harmonico, I think he is a very good illustrator and perfect for Green Lantern. But this one was also really good, and it also felt like a number 1 issue, even though it was a number 7 issue, and it wasn't necessarily something that's going to be like this long, protracted storyline. It's just one of many. Good issue. Oh, I did pick the Sacrificers this week. I read it in time. I got caught up. I read 4, 5, and 6. And wow, each issue was getting awesome. And when they did the Soluna, or I think that's the name of the daughter of Luna and Sol, I guess, whatever he's calling himself, Solanaris. Really, really good issue. Rick Remender is doing a really good job, and Max Fiumara is beyond reproach. Excellent stuff. Number 2 this week. I told you all Acid Chimp versus Business Dog is great. I did sell out. I didn't order a lot. I didn't expect to, but you know what? I'm ordering more because I'm getting them in, and I think it's going to sell out again, and I'll get more as long as I can. And I'm getting the trades. I'm not going crazy, but I'm getting the trades that relate to them. A lot of people don't like Mark Russell, but I think he's a fantastic satirical writer. And Stephen Pugh, I think, is doing the artwork in this. This is really good. Good standalone one-shot issue. You never need to buy another one ever. And last but not least, we've got Best of Last Week. Ultimate Spider-Man number 1. My goodness, people. I read the whole first issue last week, and I really, 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 really enjoyed it. And it didn't have any Spider-Man in it. And a lot of people think that the artist was wasted and there's a lot of talking, but it's character development. It's trying to change things without changing things and tell you a story that's going on. I'm not really a big major big fan of the 50 issue arc. Now, the chances of Hickman lasting 50 issues isn't very good with his recent track run. I would ride with him the entire time regardless. I doubt Marco Cicchetto could keep up, at least monthly. So I hope they have a good backup illustrator. But hopefully he can get the first year done. It continues the Ultimate Universe, Ultimate Invasion, and the miniseries and the Ultimate Invasion one-shot. There will be a trade coming out. I am not a major big trade store, but I will be getting it in. I sold Ultimate Invasion well in the store. I have a lot of Hickman fans. If I was in a larger location with good foot traffic like I used to be, I think I'd sell a whole lot more. I would have also ordered a lot more. But I ordered at least as much as I did for Ultimate Invasion, which I didn't sell out of every single one. But I don't have every single one anymore either. And I also got the multiple variants, and I'm not a store where a person comes in and buys every issue, and people will settle for comic book covers. And thankfully, in an episode where I'm going to be talking smack about customers, at least just a little bit, I think it's, I have to be honest, I screw up sometimes. So it's a newer regular, not a newer regular, but somewhere in between classic customers, classic customers, and newer customers. Somewhere in between there. And I screwed up, and I suck. But he's cool, and I have the books coming in, so he doesn't care that it isn't going to be this cover. Now, Lane and I never had a conversation about that, but he was number 2. Someone asking for it after the fact. I kind of, in a sense, give a little bit of precedence to fans of this show. He's also a subscriber to the channel, so if you're a subscriber to the channel, remember this. I pulled for people that got the Ultimate Invasion, but even I made some mistakes, and so I got my regular customer handled. Lane, this is what you're getting. You're getting my, if you all recall, I ordered a year subscription to this comic book, and I've already read it. I just wanted to see, so it came out a week late. That's awesome. And I have a pretty big mailbox, but it goes down into a box, and so we heard a thump, and Jill went out and got it, and there's a "Please do not bend," which is not always the best thing to do. Fragile. But I already cut the top, but I haven't looked at it yet. If you want to know, there's spine ticks, but what are you going to do? Covers these days. I wouldn't get it slabbed, Lane, but your comic right here, this is coming to you. So I've got you covered, and I've got my customers covered. And I might even have an extra 1 or 2 either at the end of this week or next week if we're lucky. Cross our fingers, everybody. But there is a second print, and it did very well. It's selling out pretty much everywhere. I had people coming in that know us. How do they know us? And they didn't get this pulled. And, that's kind of one of the things. Customers are flighty, and they're not very timely. And... but it sucks because I want to be able to make customers happy, and maybe you make a regular customer. So what I'm going to do with the extras that I have, anybody that wants to buy the first issue will in the future have to set up a poll for all the other issues. And I think I'm going to get their credit card number and everything on hand also. So, I'm going to give you strings. Little strings are attached. Speaking of strings attached, so those are the best of last week. All right. We're going to talk about the Transformers. I'm going to share screen. Let me stop my camera while I do that. I'm going to present. I'm going to do the Transformers Wheel of Names. We're going to share it. Yeah. And I'm watching along. So yeah, please do take part in our poll if it at all is something that's important to you. Would you rather tune at 7 live or tune in at 8 live? My fate, your fate, is in our hands. These are all the people that purchased Transformers number 2 and are on hold for Transformers, the series. I am not adjusting for people that get variant covers held for them because it's not always, it's not going to be always a possibility that there's going to be variant covers. So I am going to include in their own separate spin anybody that bought the 1 in 10 variant. I had 5 I sold 4 at $10 a pop. And those people are going to be in the second spin. All right. So I think it's 22 names here. We've got men and women, mostly men. Is it because you like Hasbro? Is it because you like Daniel Warren Johnson? Do you like both? I have a feeling that we're going to see quite the drop off unless they do some real shisty shenanigans with the covers. I think we're going to see some big droppage when Daniel Warren Johnson is off on art, because the fill-in artist or the next artist doesn't strike me as being all that great. But I know that a bunch of you guys y'all are gonna be real excited to still keep going on, because anybody that knows anything knows that Daniel Warren Johnson is a storyteller. And if he has even adequate artwork, I mean, you can go all the way back to the original Marvel days. And yeah, it would still be great. So here's our first spin of everybody that held and bought their Transformers number 2. Right. This is always wonderful. Can't wait. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Joe H. Joe H is the person I screwed up on the Spider-Man. And look, he is in the running. He's going to be a 1 of 2 chance to be part of this. This is great. Oh, how exciting. Oh man, this is, holy cow. Would this be awesome or what? Okay. All right, I'm just putting in the names right now. I'm going to share screen. These are everybody that bought the 1 in 10 variant. It pays to play. Ali, Cameron, newer customer Cameron. Could a newer go against a new customer? Bruce, classic customer. Classic customer. Steve, classic, buys variant covers. Both of those guys. We've got, this is great. Ollie, this is newer customer. It's not Cameron newer, but somewhere in between. Well, actually, before Joe. That would be a Nose Joe also. Maybe we could see like a fist fight outside the store. This could be great. I'll let you know when he's showing up, Ollie. I'll let you know when he's showing up, Joe. Yeah. Oh, the rich get richer. Steve, who won number 1. Oh, this is like wrestling, everybody. I love it. So we're going to have Steve versus Joe H. Let me just write those names down right now. And this is super exciting. I'm so excited. We're gonna have to play a video.
Bill, spin my arm.
Come on. I win a Winnebago. No! So close. I spun it a little too hard.
He spun it a little too hard. You know, how many times am I? Well, I guess every issue. But I got played again. All right, here we go, everybody. Whew. We got a classic customer versus new customer, Joe H. Joe H, who I effed up on, but do indeed have. I'm going to be able to rectify it. An Ultimate Spider-Man #1 for Joe. And Steve, who doesn't give a shit about that comic. Boo! He would have had every cover, though, I'd have you know. All right, here we go. Here we go. Oh, the tension, it just mounts. Oh, it's a Joe H. day, everybody. Woo! All right. Bravo. Oh, bravo. Joe, oh my God. Can you believe this? I mean, this is just amazing. Fantinium, I'm sorry. I'm just joking. Joe? You are winner. Way to go, my man. Cheers. Way to go, man. Way to go, Joe. That was awesome. Let's go to chat and see if there's anything. I mean, what did you guys think about that? Wasn't that awesome? Okay, I see. We made fun of Jungle Boy. You got Lane there. Okay, here we go. So do I think it lived up to the hype? Leonard Pig says. Yeah, I think it did. I think Jonathan Hickman is the thing that brings the people to it. There's a lot of people surmising it's Mary Jane being married to Peter Parker. I swear. Okay, look. A lot of people like to talk about the length of time that Mary Jane was married to, Peter Parker. But I say with the exception of a couple of years, a few years at the most, because let's be real, even though Todd McFarlane's really good, I don't think Michelini was up to snuff. And maybe I'll give him a pass during the Eric Larson days, but although I appreciate Eric Larson, maybe in some ways more than Todd McFarlane, he's a guy that had to go and follow Todd McFarlane, whereas Todd McFarlane didn't have to. A tired Ron Friends and, people like that. But so much of that was Mark Bagley and Luke Ross and very ugly Sal Buscema, that if it wasn't for the fact that we don't have Sal Buscema or as great art in some ways like the old days, it's the only reason why I go back to the Sal Buscema 90s at all. But I'd still rather go earlier if I'm going to, delve into his work. Hickman is bringing, look, don't discount Hickman. Oh, Gods didn't do that real well. Gods was the #1 seller. It was also the most expensive book, I think, that time. Gods is trying to do something that other books aren't. Sell well using Marvel magic. Marvel fans like Marvel punching, and only certain ones. They like Marvel snicked. They like Marvel, guns. But Punisher doesn't sell like it used to. I mean, most of the Marvel comics don't sell like they used to. But there's certain numbers that you can count on always. It's we don't see, the speculator isn't always on the new stuff. So we don't see people buying as much of, if there was the speculators buying that all the time, every issue, they're just keying in on the ones. And this is a really good idea of like customers I don't like. It's the ones that only come in for the really super hot stuff. They're coming in to mine your store so that my normal customers, my regular customers, my newer customers can't run into these books. And I'm sure a newer customer that isn't used to old comic books are probably going to look at a Hickman book and be pretty excited about this. And a lot of people are, I think there's a lot of similarities to this and the Ultimate Spider-Man that Bendis did. I would go back and read that if I could stand Mark Bagley's artwork. Not near mint. Will the Transformers last 150 issues like IDW, TMNT? And will people continue a Jason Aaron rebooted TMNT after 150 issues? I thought I heard that they're continuing with 151, and for sure, Jason Aaron has renewed interest in his Batman Offworld that he's doing, RIP Punchbot, And his first issue of Action 1061 with very good artwork was a very fun issue, if not a little confusing, but that's what you get with Bizarro stuff. And he is supposed to be relaunching like a DC version of the Ultimate Universe. What? Which might be what we need. And with Scott Snyder, it could be very good. Now, editorial. Can it be, can it maintain? Can it rein in Scott Snyder? Can it rein in Jason Aaron? If it's just going to run crazy like the Justice League and it run crazy like it did the Avengers, my God, both those guys were working on those books. Anyway. Yeah, Sacrificers, one of the best books of last year. Great ending. I think if that ending would have come out and I had been caught up and it came out last year, I would have definitely put it on the maybe the best independent by Conan. So it's got a bit of Conan in it, in its own way. It was so brutal the way they were treating that dude's daughter. Oh my God, it's crazy. And Pigeon? Is that what we're calling him? The Blue Pigeon? I love it. Oh boy, can't wait to hear this episode. All right, we're going to talk about a CGC also in a few seconds, guys. Oh, and the Berkeley Comic Show. Okay, so why don't I talk about the Berkeley Comic Show? Boom. Remember that. That's lame. I bought some books. I didn't buy a lot. Last week we were talking about, well, speaking of last week, let me show you this. Next week, I have a next week banner. I want you in the comments to put what you think, or come to chat next week with the series that were too great to last. I'm going to give you an example. A lot of people probably don't know about Breach. That was a DC comic book. I think it was too good to last. Or maybe not too great to last. Also, it lasted just long enough. Here's another example, Next Wave. It went 12 issues. Supposedly the talent was so expensive and it didn't sell well enough. Boom, kill that book. We're going to talk about series that are too great to last. And subsequently, series that go way too long. What did I buy at the Berkeley Comic Show, though? Aerosol. I thought they only did frickin' Barry Blair, prepubescent Elfie boy type stuff. But I was wrong. There's a book called The Power, and it's done by Dave Cooper. And Dave Cooper, he's pretty much an independent artist. But let me get you a double, not necessarily a double page. This is like the early 90s, black and white. Some of my favorite type of stuff is black and white. And man, it's weird that this doesn't look as finished as his normal stuff does, but he also works in color. But I love Dave Cooper, and they were asking $8 and $5, and I had $11, and he took it. Yeah. I bought a Spider-Man comic. I'm trying to collect 151 to 251. I have more after and some before, but those are my numbers. And it's something I've wanted to do for a very long time and have taken time off, but I want to buy something all the time. Trying to buy raw because it's cheaper than buying CGC, so that usually means I want to buy it in person. A1 Comics, which is in Sacramento, had a real big buy last year, and there was a lot of Spider-Man, and every once in a while I get something from them, whether it be slabbed or not. I bite the bullet sometimes. This was considered a 9.2 plus, so like it could be a 9.4 or 9.6. I said, do you want to make change or do you want to take this? And they took that. That was awesome. 159. This is a freaking beautiful, beautiful book. And yeah, it's definitely a 9.2 plus. and I added them to the grading scale on my CLZ. The last one is a nod to last week. So I've been buying every once in a while some Hulk magazines right here, the Rampaging Hulk. This is the first 5 issues. And then last week at the show, I bought issue 6 with Submariner. These have Keith Pollard artwork. He's a solid worksman. And then I think, what does that say? We got a Man-Thing story in here. And again, this is a Luke Pollard. Anyway, that's number 7. So I'm slowly building up my inexpensive version of the Rampaging Hulk series because I don't want to pay. It's hard to want to pay more than $20 for something I just want to read. Whoa. It's all right. They're ratty. It's no big deal. All right. Very cool. So we were talking about variants last week. And one of the first variants I could remember was DC doing the Justice League and Firestorm variant where, they sold in like 7-Elevens or something like that. You had to be lucky to get them. And so they're all newsstand. And this one is a Superman comics right there. That's proof of it. It was sitting right there. I was looking at some other books that the guy had. Just I buy for condition. I don't buy for condition and then someone to tell me that it's in good condition. I grade it myself, and I feel like I'm an accurate judge, and I think most people feel I am. And in the very least, I have a good price that is associated with it. So those are the comics that I bought at the Berkeley Comic Show. It was a great show. There was a lot of really cool things, a lot of really old comics, and not as many click-clacky stuff as always. But there was plenty of that too. And the one I liked the most was this guy, and I'm going to call him a kid because he looks so young. But this kid, he had some stuff that wasn't slabbed and some stuff that was, and one of them was, understandably slabbed. But we'll talk about the condition of that in a second. It was one of my birthday books, and I know it's really expensive, and I've talked about it. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, #1. And he had it at 5.0. I mean, CGC had it at that. And it was a $1,700 book. And you can go and look up the prices of some mangled Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, #1s. And you see $1,700, and you're like, that's a pretty good price. I'd rather pay like $1,200, but 17 is like good compared to all that other stuff, if that other stuff actually ever sells. And that was me at the Berkeley Comic Show. Don't forget, what comic book series are too great to last? They were so darn good, and you just knew they were never going to be able to keep going. Maybe because of the artist, Flaming Carrot won a bunch of issues for one dude, but a comic that didn't was anything Art Adams did. Monkey Man and O'Brien. Too good to last, or just not good enough to last. Maybe that's what it was. But that too, next week. Customers that interrupt conversations. Not like, I need help, but they kind of like, they don't get with the conversation. They're Donnie and Big Lebowski. Like a new babe. I'll clip that. We'll do that one. But what the person who's being interrupted has to understand is that we're all freaks in the comic book store, even the new freaks. There are people that aren't, but when they really get into comics, they become that way. And sometimes slabbing is kind of that also. And it's a different aspect of it. And I don't ever want to come across as I'm hating on somebody doing that. But it is going to come across like that in a few minutes. Understand that I'm not the model customer. And anytime I screw up in another person's establishment, I usually call myself a customer. And it's really easy to, just for normal people. But as comic book people, in my store, it's a little bit different. There can only be so many people in the room at the same time. And, I think everybody in the store is pretty understanding of everybody and nobody gets out of line, but, we have really good conversations and I feel like I'm a good facilitator of the different ones. So we have a real good time at the shop. And I'm sad if you're not able to have that at your store. But us as customers have to realize when we're being dicks. We have to realize when we're it's just not our place. Just I'm sorry. You can be sorry for once, except for you ladies. You don't have to say that. I'm sorry, I said ladies. There you go. I said sorry. But all customers have foibles. I got really upset today at Togo's. I don't think I should go there ever again. Chill. I don't think I should ever go there again. And they pretty much told me to leave. I told them to leave my stuff alone, kind of and they didn't like that. And they were like one and done type situation, even though I felt like I put out a lot. They don't know I feel like I put out a lot a bunch of times, whether it was our error. Well, if it was our error, that's against it. But it just seems like it's always this place, you know what I mean? And today was a bad situation. And if there's ever video of it, I'm to monetize on it, okay? I'm so lucky. Some nondescript white guy in an LA, well, I guess the LA hat. No, I wasn't wearing an LA hat. In a beanie. He was wearing a coat, so I can't tell if he had tattoos or anything. Oh, shit. I'll buy it on Amazon, you MFers. Hold on, I'll drink to that. How dare you say that in a store? Look, do you say that at home? Okay. You order it at home, or that you're like at a store and you see something and they're price checking it, or they're I'm sorry, you can't see me. Price checking, or they're this is the one I don't like, when they take pictures of a comic book. Now I understand that there are influencers, and I've bent a bit to that because it's understandable. You want to be seen in front of it, and look what they got here, and at least somebody knows about Fantastic Comics. But when it's an art book, you know what I mean? Like one picture of the cover, maybe one more inside, but any more, and I'm on your ass. And that is at the big store. We don't do that. We don't have to deal with that at my store. But that was a bad one. I mean, I worked at Borders. There's horrible behavior that went on there. And it was way more upscale than a comic store. Well, I mean, there's some comic stores, but there'll always be comic stores. You know what I mean? There's still, if you're not selling superhero comics, you still have penises and vaginas and all manner of undress. Or foul language. You got to be selling something, right? Oh no, I only sell media comics. We sell the Transformers and the Aliens, and that's it. And the Mr. T comic books. The thing that I don't like the most, and it's a little bit of a one-sided feud. It's not even a feud. I'm joking. Anytime I say, well, how can I get more viewers? The reality is I don't do what I need to do to get more viewers, so it really shouldn't be brought up. But again, would you want to be here earlier or earlier than normal? Would you be here? What if there's some really crazy drama going on with a comic book artist? What if somebody got canceled and there's a surprise Star Wars cast or something like that? would that like take you away? Because, you know, they might be on another coast and they might be airing, you know, 3 hours earlier, and by their 15th hour, they might be over. So these are like pressing concerns. These are things I'm interested in. I'm interested in what you think. I don't think it would. I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that watch this afterwards. Some are just doing it as a favor. Thank you very much. Subscribe, hit the channel, or hit the bell for notifications. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. I want to see more than 27. There's some big guests I could possibly get if I just got a whole lot more likes. I had a customer, so a one-sided feud with a comic store locally. And anytime something comes up with them, I kind of like, but I mean, it's more like, you know, fake drama. I want to create some fake drama with them. I try, but it's just no biting. I don't push hard enough. There is this is one of those stores that will do variant covers. Like, hey, look at us. We got Marvel. And we got our copy of, what did we get? Rec Rap #1, everybody. We got a variant cover of it. Aren't we cool? We went to a third printing of our Rec Rap. I'm like thinking, wow, you got to spend like 2,000, 2,500 copies, pay the artist to do it. Has to be okayed. I mean, I know they got some people that, you know, will do anything, but like they do that for freaking Scout Comics and Vault Comics. And I'm like, really? Really? Scout and Vault? Really? I mean, I don't see it, but, you know, good for them. What I don't appreciate is some person giving me a call. Like, you can bring in your comic books. Bring in your comic books. See it in there. I'm like, all right, it's not. I'm never paying money for that book ever. You know what I mean? It's Rec Rap. Why would I? I'm never buying their comic ever. I want you to know at my store, I will never put money in their book. I'll sell it, but I'll never pay money for it. Ever. Never real money. It means nothing to me. It means less than nothing to me. You know what? I might not even price it up because it takes up space of something I care about. And like, this is real. You know, this isn't, I don't think it's evil saying this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe what I did was evil. I basically told this person that no F words, no cursing, nothing like that. But I let them know, like, why would you ask me, a store in the area of the store that you had to buy this from, or that you know is in existence, that you should know is in existence? Why would you come to me asking about it and then whether or not I would buy it? It just makes no sense. You know, I mean, are you a baseball fan or are you a Dodger fan? Do you think I'd really, really care about your team stuff? I don't care about that comic book. I appreciate when I was given free of charge from Larry's Comics Ms. Marvel #1s that he thought I could sell that were variant covers. You know, he has a bunch of them, I'm sure. Sends them along. And maybe this person was like that. But even still, maybe I took it too far. Did I take it too far? At least I didn't curse. But that was very upsetting, and it put me in a bad mood for the whole day. And I think it was raining. And when it rains, there's very few visitors. And I only do this once a week. That Stick around. We're going to talk about we're going to CGC, but first, New Comic Book Day. Here, oh yeah, the subscribe. Yeah, there we go. Subscribe to our channel, everybody. Blah 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 blah. Gives in the box. Oh, isn't that cute? That's downstairs. All right. First up, coming out tomorrow, X-Men number 30. I think I have the right amount ordered now. I keep it tight, everybody. I'm sorry. But if you want to get on the hold, I mean, I'm there for you more often than not. Next up, we have, I already read this, Amazing Spider-Man 42. Good follow-up. I already read this issue, Spider-Man 42. This is the follow-up to the very, very heavy fisticuff issue between Tombstone and Kingpin and all sorts of other fun stuff going on involving Tombstone's daughter. Excellent issue. Liked it. Superman number 10. He was wearing armor because he had some kryptonite poisoning. He was transported into the past with Marilyn Moon Knight, I think her name is. And there's an old Westie story, and it's fun. I liked it a lot. It feels like a breather, but obviously more of the same, and by the end it's pretty much fixed. This is cool issue. I like it. Nightwing number 110, the infamous people yelling at each other from a Housewives program. Infamous, I tell you. And last month there was a really beautiful Redondo cover. He does really inventive things, and this is one of the first times he hasn't. He also does kind of boring things sometimes, but overall, I think he's a pretty good artist, and this is beneath him. There you go. Wonder Woman number 5. I read this issue. Hate is gonna hate. All right, so I do have a legitimate critique of this issue. And if anybody that critiques it says this, then you're going to know that they're legit. We go the entire issue. And there are parameters established. And by the end of the issue, you think that those will be adhered to, but then they are not. And I'm sorry, it's a little bit of a spoiler. And if it was in wrestling and that happened, that would be a bone of contention. We see it way too often. I think it develops the characters and shows their love for Diana. And they're all very fun. So I forgive that aspect of this issue. Otherwise, it's flawless. And everybody is going to hate. Fantastic Four, number, what is that, 16? Looks like it. I'm behind. I'm at least 3 issues behind. I keep selling out of it. And it was good. I like it. Ryan North is doing a good job. And look, it looks like the kids. Are they back? Oh, that'd be interesting. Avengers Twilight by Chip Zdarsky and Daniel Acuna. I don't know if Chip Zdarsky was ever high in my as far as a writer or even an artist is concerned. I've only read his superhero stuff, and I really just don't care about it. I read recently the last 3 issues of Batman, and although I really despised them, I did want to read the next issue, so there's something to be said for that. This is a really good written issue. It's like Dark Knight Returns for the Avengers, but I'm intrigued enough to see where it's going to go forward. And Daniel Acuna is doing as close to inspired work as Daniel Acuna can. So if you like him already, you're going to love it. It's like Daniel Acuna with a little bit of Dan Brereton. And a good first issue. I hope it continues to be good. Cobra Commander #1. My goodness, everybody. Are you reading Transformers? I only read the second issue just the other day, and holy cow, I think it was Starscream. There are these enlisted men or army men flying planes at these Transformers flying in the air, and they have to jettison out the army dudes. And one of them we find out is Duke. And the other one is, who cares? And the other one is floating in his, his seat. And he has his, his parachute, and he's safe. And then Starscream comes up, transforms, and is like Obama catching a fly. And Duke's series stems from that. And oh my God, Cobra Commander's involved in this too? Can't wait to find out. Daredevil #5? I'm not reading it. I know a lot of you aren't also. I understand a lot of you like Daredevil. And geez, if it was John Romita Jr. in the insides, I might actually check it out. But it's another fill-in artist after a few issues of the Cood not being able to keep going on. Has he ever done 6 straight issues? Not if it was America. John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America. This is like an 8-issue series by Simon Spurrier, and I'll get the banner down so we can find out. Let's see here. Who is it? Aaron Campbell. This is a good enough artist. I don't know. I mean, why couldn't they just have kept Hellblazer going, man? Did they muck about with it? Lame. Finally, Miracle Man, the Silver Age #7. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the last issue, or do we have another one to go? This is like 30 years in the making. If you haven't read the Alan Moore stuff, and not only do I have the omnibus, but I have the the $40 trade. Either one is excellent, but I recommend the expensive one because it's sitting on my shelf. And that's something that people do. They're like, oh, I'm really interested in this. And then they don't get it from you. And then you were like left buying it. Boo. Cable #1, Fabian Nicieza, Scott Eaton. I don't care. I'm picking it up. I like Cable. One of my guilty pleasures. Neat Will Spatasio cover. And not only one of my guilty pleasures, I think since Wolverine, the most important character that was created for the X-Men. Or not for the X-Men, but for the Marvel U, I mean. Nothing since Cable. I mean, maybe I'd say Deadpool. And I definitely wouldn't say either of those necessarily just because of Rob Liefeld, but because of what has happened with the characters and how important they are going forward. One financially outside of the business, and one, for like continuity's sake, as far as the 616 is concerned. The Deviant #3 by Jason Tynion. I'm not reading it, but I have customers that really, really like this, and I order extra for the shelf for that person that comes in wanting something that's horror and Christmas related. And last but not least, holy cow, everybody, I can't believe this one's last. This all comes up random. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero #303. The first 2 issues have been, dare I say, the best G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero I've ever read. Possibly it's because of Chris Mooneyham. Now, the silent interlude issue, I can't remember what issue number that is, 27, whatever. That one's an excellent issue. And there's no real reading in that one. And it's just like, you got to read it as pictures, and it was different. And it's mimicked. And there were some cool ones where you find out about Storm Shadow that I liked. Some of the who are the swamp dudes? Those guys, the dreadnoughts. But I didn't read a lot of G.I. Joe. Not a lot. But I read 301 and I read 302. And Larry Hama is still writing this like he has from the very, very beginning. And like I said, this is a very, very fun series right now. It's amped up. It's not allowing me to ask any questions of what's going on. We're getting little bits and pieces of other things. Did you know Snake Eyes could talk? And he doesn't wear a mask all the time. And I think he's hanging out with Scarlet outside of the Joes. So they've continued the numbering since Marvel and then IDW. And this is all Kirkman doing. And he can do no wrong. And that's new comic books for tomorrow. There's more, of course, but we don't need to keep doing that. Let's get to comments. As a customer, I'm willing to fall on my sword and understand if things don't get pulled. You should never accept that. And you should make me feel bad. I have a customer that makes me feel really bad about it. There's some customers I'm scared of, and I make sure I can take care of them. Yeah, it's weird being cowed, but whether they mean to do it or not, I'm not letting you know who it is, though. I knew it. So how is this making you feel for the Ultimate line? Lane asks. I asked this on the Comics Aficionados, how well they were feeling about the future of Ultimate Comics with the new ones coming. Well, if I can sell people on the concept of what's been going on, I have a feeling that if I have conversation with people that actually read the first issue and keep picking up Spider-Man, that I'm going to need to keep buying Black Panther and X-Men for a while. I think number 2, I'm going to order more of, probably have a raffle. It will be open to people that buy it online, probably, because I'm going to get a lot. I might do it for Black Panther 1 and the X-Men also. We'll see how that goes. I might have already been too late on that, but we can have fun with it regardless. I'm looking forward to this. I think people that want to read a little bit more of a cohesive Hickman universe. I mean, there's like a time limit that's going on with this thing. It's ticking, and I don't think it can last forever. Also, I don't think this is really meant to last forever. I think the future of this is going to be good. You should stick with Spidey. You should always stick with Hickman. Even if you don't like it, you'll enjoy it later. But you should also buy Gods. I'm just happy Fantastic Comics is open with the pulse of new comics. Amen, brother. And I appreciate you. And Battle Buddy gives me a hard time, let me tell you. Is it really selling out? I bet you the stores that ordered in the hundreds and the ratio variants still have boxes in stock. While we sold out and can't get more. Well, I think people ordered at least as much as their Ultimate Invasion numbers did. And Ultimate Invasion was not, like Hickman usually writes, a traditional superhero story. And people are ready for this, whether it is because of Mary Jane and Spider-Man being married, or Peter, an older Spider-Man. Maybe, we've grown up and this is our version of that now. I think anybody that's trying to compare this to the original Ultimate Spider-Man, see, all right, when he was dying, we were open as a store, sold all that stuff very well. Not enough. I screwed up. I was very tight. I still am, but I was very tight. And people were sad that Peter Parker, Ultimate Spider-Man, was going to die. It's not Peter Parker, I say. It is to them. This person is 10, 20, 25 years younger than me. when they started reading Spider-Man for the very first time, and it was Ultimate Spider-Man. You know what I mean? It's always someone's new Spider-Man. So this one shouldn't be compared to that one. I think he's going to take beats from that. Like, I think if we looked at Ultimate Spider-Man #1, which maybe we should do that next week, we'll see some of the same narrative beats. He definitely did that with his Ultimate Invasion stuff. And it was just, watch my video on it. I think it's great. Me and Customer Max talk about it, and he brings up a lot of that stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know if I really understood that. Great stuff. The Lithid Lore. I'm trying not to get my hopes on the new Ultimate Universe. If I get too excited, someone in Marvel invariably wrecks it. Don't push your hopes in it. Only buy what you like. If you never liked Black Panther, then don't buy it. If you never liked X-Men, don't buy it. If you don't like Peach Momoko, don't buy it. But buy the first issue and order it. Let your comic store know. Battle Buddy. Sure. Fantinuum. Stop it. 18 issues or 18 Archum covers for the first non-DWJ issue. That's my point. Well, don't forget the lyrics covers. And my new favorite is the one that did the Doom Patrol #1. Such a favorite that I can't remember. Also Dane, artist Dane, who did Birds of Prey #5. Just so good. Yes, it was a big spin Fear Monarch. That's right. Get Archer and Sexy Lady. Excellent. Tall cans in the... Oh, no, I'm not tall canning it today. Cats. All right. The last Transformers comic I read was the manga series. I didn't even know they did a manga series. Or do you mean the Udon stuff? Was it Udon? No, not Udon. The Pat Lee. Was it Pat Lee? It was very manga-esque. Magical Bizarro destroying the Magic Society and absorbing their magic was kind of awesome. John Timms is a really good artist, and I'm really happy to see him back, especially with DC losing Ivan Reis. That's a big hit. So seeing Timms come back on something is good. Herrenberg. I hate when people look up albums on Discogs in a really great used record store where the prices are reasonable. Is it the same BS in the comic shops? It is. It can be. I usually don't like it when it's new stuff. I know my customers, and I know certain ones are going to want certain things, and I usually order accordingly. Or if I don't, I reorder for them. So, I have a certain amount that I assume I'm going to sell, but I miss the mark a lot. If Marvel would have made this returnable, I totally would have got more. I think all the stores would have got more. And I think all the stores would have sold a lot. And they wouldn't have had to put a number on how many to get. And I mean, I reordered. I got some coming in. I got one for Joe. I got an awesome Transformers for Joe also. Battle Buddy. I hope we see a series of the Dreadnoks. That would sell it for sure. Well, I'm still not going to order a ton. All their swampy origin backstories would be interesting to read. I agree. And maybe we could save Chuck Dixon's career and bring him on that one. You know what I mean? All right. CGC. This is great. Do I have a video for it? Oh, I forgot my video. Oh, and that was New Comic Book Day. Are we done with that? Yeah, we're done with it. All right, next time. Hey, I want you all to know I love you guys. I love you too.
I'm so happy to be here.
That's right. I'm happy to be here. All right. This is our segment. This is the one we all love.
Good.
That's right. Today we are not cracking a slab. I only bought raw copies. Go to your show, your local show, the comic show, not the one that's all about cosplay, all about people talking in cartoons or starring in movies. But find the ones that have back issues. Look at that. Look at that. Maybe if you're lucky and it's a local one, they might have that. I don't. And Lane, good job. Crack That Slab. We're going to talk about an interview that happened with the Dave Vengers comic book show. Show. The guy's name is Dave. He's a very great voice. I love it. Just everything I wish I was as an interviewer. And I think he asked appropriate questions of Matt Nelson of CGC, who had to come out and take some bullets. I don't think there were very many bullets. It was kind of softballs and allowances. And I didn't clip everything, so there is in the description down below, there is the link. So go watch it. But I did excerpt some of the stuff, and I'm going to comment on that as we talk about it. First up, this guy's name is 9.9, like he loves 9.9 books, I guess, is going to say something to Mark.
And, it's not like anyone watching this might realize we're actually just warming up to the conversation together. It's not like we had a bunch of conversation backstage. We're kind of just hitting record and jumping into it. I hope that's okay with you.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm here to answer the questions that I can and give some transparency on what's been going on. So
I like that his background is blurred as he's talking about transparency. I know the Battle Buddy's going to hate this. Lane's all, I'm sending my stuff. I also have a link to another video that talks about the video game scandal slabbing and how it relates to CGC also and other things. Maybe if there's enough likes, I'll clip that and we'll talk about that next week as a juxtaposition to this. So transparency, awesome. First question.
I wanted to know how was the initial list composed of the books that were posted? I think it was 350 or so.
Yeah. So I can't really explain, how we arrived at the list. It's an ongoing investigation at this time. So I can't share how we determined how the books were impacted, but, we saw trends. We noticed, we immediately started doing an investigation and saw trends, and obviously our reholder service was targeted. And obviously there were certain books that were used in this scheme. So obviously the list that was published, you can see a handful of books that were numerous copies on that list. So it seems like it was a very specific group of books to the reholder service by an individual. But we're not aware of any other books that were targeted besides these 350 that we posted a list on.
Yeah, I don't know how we got these lists of books that are sent back into the CGC and mislabeled just on the say so that we screwed up the first time. That's interesting. Yeah, there you go. The 9.9 guy wants to talk about CGC's importance, and he has two parts. This is the very first one.
You say CGC is a protector of the hobby, protector of the community, and that's very much what we want, right? And it's just like, because sometimes people will say, if you guys keep talking about this, what do you want? You want it to go back to raw books? No, that was a foolish thought. We understand why third-party grading exists. And then, first it came out of let's say a necessity to create some sort of, something to trust in. So you don't have to take a seller's word for it. It could be just a hobbyist that only sells every now and then, not necessarily familiar with the ways of restoration, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of books that third-party grading is super important for.
Is it I mean, there's sometimes the only way you can buy something is online, obviously. But man, I always thought like the comic thing is like the hunt, I mean, it's just built differently, or it's a different type of hunt. I wanted to buy this one comic book in an auction, so there I am doing the same thing. It's CGC slabbed. It was like 9.6, I think. An unimportant Spider-Man, but one I wanted and needed, and I know that like most people slab these Spider-Mans if they're in good enough condition. So chances are I'm not gonna, I didn't see it over at A1, and although I'm not opposed to buying from the comic store that makes variant covers, I don't love it. So they slab a lot of their shit too. So that's the importance of CGC to that guy. I don't think that that's my favorite part of the hobby at all. Like, my favorite part of the hobby is getting the comic and reading it. I finished. Oh shit. Let me see. This is the anal retentive part. Okay. So I finished the very first. It took me like 3 days to finish this Hulk. And I was so happy to do that. Who cares about the grade of it? I mean, I don't want to get the heebie-jeebies because I picked up a comic book. And you can totally get those. But you can clean your comic book. There's a way to take care of them these days after the fact. It doesn't need to get slabbed. And, are you just chasing a number? I mean, your dude's name is 9.9. He's your co-host. And his name is, hey, don't read this comic book. That's what his name is from now on. Don't read this comic book. So second importance for don't read this comic book.
And then it just sort of, turned into a part of our community, of our hobby, if you will. And it became fun. People just start grading books because it's a hell of a time to go for the grade. Can we hit the 9.8 on this thing? And then you kind of get lost in the fun of it all, right? Like, there was a really serious reason for it to exist, and then it becomes fun, which is brilliant for business, right? Because CGC blossoms into a brand, into an actual, something that you perceive in the hobby as an actual brand, the way that you would look at a publisher or something.
9.9 newsstand. The whole thing that makes, and they talk about it, and it's like kind of infuriating. It's like the whole reason why the newsstand. So there's a time period when the only thing you get was newsstand and very few direct market. Those are more important than the newsstand, even if it's in condition. But when everything was direct market and very little was newsstand, then newsstand is worth more. Because they say so. Of course, it's difficult to get a newsstand in better condition. Ain't no punk kid at AM/PM or whatever store in whatever, that's open 24/7 that sells gas also gives a shit about comic books that are being shelved. And they're probably reading them, if anything, ruining them. Then just throwing them back on the shelf. Obviously, getting good condition copies of that is impressive. And then you're going to go and slab it. The thing that made it impressive is that it's still in great condition. Now, even more than my comics, and I feel, seeing a condition, look, they could all get damaged somehow. I mean, obviously, a fire is going to take your CGC comics out. Sorry. Maybe not a flood, but it might be bad. There's no assurances in anything. An earthquake can, they got earthquakes everywhere now, thanks to fracking. If you chase the grade, don't you it's only for online selling. But everybody goes to shows with those very same things that they haven't sold online. Oh, look, this shit's slabbed. The only goddamn reason I want it is so that I can have it. And if it's in there, I feel like I can't have it. And if I want it, it's going to cost way too much. And they realize that. Okay, hold on. I don't know if I have everything. They address stuff that I feel addresses what I'm talking about, or they're kind of saying the quiet stuff out loud.
We're totally open for any idea. You know, we've had a lot of ideas thrown at us privately. Obviously, there's some on the boards. Obviously, a lot of discussion going on internally about that. So, yeah, I welcome any ideas anybody has. You know, for anything going forward. We're always open for suggestions, and not just with the holder, but the website, anything like that. You know, except for the grading, we got that down pat. No, we got that locked up. But no, some people might disagree.
Speaking of disagreeing, that 5.0 Scooby-Doo Where Are You is bullshit. That guy had. My buddy Emil and I, good customer. If I was going to shout out any one Patreon member, it might be him. There's plenty of others. But so I would probably like a list of 5, something like that. Instead, I just list everybody. Way easier that way. He and I were looking at that book, and he's the grading expert. Like I bow to him. You know, we have long discussions about what makes a grade and what you can allow. They talk about it in this video about like a 9.9 allow, or a 9.8. Maybe it was a 9.9. I can't remember what it was. Allowing a color break. And they're having a conversation about that. And it's like, we've got a lot of conversation to have about this if we're going to have that. They didn't even... You can't, if you're going to talk grade, it's a nuts and bolts conversation. And I understand there's a lot of people that don't realize it, but man, you're just trying to assume that this thing is going to increase in value. And especially because of that, there's a revolution of comic collectors out there. They're small. Break those slabs open, people. Battle Buddy's okay. You're excluded. Lane, you're excluded. But even still, you know, I understand if it's like an art piece, but you know, there's a thing that BCW is selling. Maybe I'll do an example of that next week. It's kind of cool. It's not as like slicked out as a CGC special, you know, bannered, you know, like, oh shit, this shit. They do like, oh look, I got like, these are just the plain ones, and then they'll have like well, that's CBCS, but you know what I mean. And then they'll have Spider-Man and a New York landscape or something like that. Oh, this was signed by somebody. It's a different label, you know, and stuff like that. So they've got the grading covered. Let's have a little laugh about that.
Yeah, no.
If you hadn't said that right after this after we started recording, I was going to show you a couple of things. I wanted to get your second opinion.
Oh yeah. Oh, there will always be dissent till the end of the earth. You know, there will always be dissent on grade.
Then what good is CGC? What good are you? If there's always dissent, you even understand that there is a possibility within your own organization that one person isn't going to grade what another person is. We all have allowances when we're looking at books. Oh, that doesn't matter to me. Some people roll up their freaking comic books and put them in their back pocket. God bless you for doing that. And fuck you. You look like an asshole doing that. Whoops, that was the F word I wanted for the episode. That's for the parents that aren't watching. That's that guy was going to show him after the show. Like, I love when I do it. It's like saying, "Oh, I'm just joking." I understand it's lame. I can't help it. I'm stuck in my ways. But saying that you were going to do something instead backstage You know, it's like you were going to do it backstage and then you said it here that you were going to do it. If he hadn't said that, you said that if he hadn't, let me just play that one more time.
Yeah, no.
If you hadn't said that right after this after we started recording, I was going to show you a couple of things.
What? Why would you say that? I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I understand. Like, I feel like I get starstruck when like Joe Casey's on, when Corey Andrews was on, other people. I try and keep it down to earth, and that's why I'd say the stupid jokes I stay. But I don't think I think this is I was thinking this is kind of softball. You know, this guy was allowed to speak and he was allowed to say what he was saying, and a lot of it wasn't anything, and it was like company line type stuff that you'd expect. The host says this.
So books get sold on countless platforms, right? But some of the biggest ones are a corporation structured, so they have structure. Are you guys working with Heritage and eBay, any of the Instagram consigners, Comic Link, Comic Connect, to try and kind of raise awareness to maybe the buyers? Because eBay's anonymous to everybody except eBay. Heritage is anonymous to everybody except Heritage. So are you working with them to try and reach out to people that might have bought books on the platform that came from this list?
Yeah, I can't disclose who we're working with, but we are communicating with a number of third parties in this investigation. So yeah, I can't name names, but everyone, the people are definitely working with us. Like the collectors, I think a lot of people understand the gravity of the situation. Even though we're talking about 350 books out of 10 million collectibles graded by CGC, it's minuscule.
Remember, it was like a YouTuber or an Instagram, maybe even that guy that was with Dave Engers. I think he was talking about comparing things. That was not anything that CGC did. Nothing. And we're very confident. We do 10 million things. You told me that you did 10 million things. Is that a selling point? I mean, if I don't know, if like McDonald's cared about Super Size Me, well, they did. They changed their drinks. I don't know if I'd sell that. I don't think that was. Anyway, he goes on to threaten the guy that did that, threaten all the people that might do that. I think in this next one he talks about. This is the last one, by the way. I think he talks about like what he'll. Shit's gonna happen
going forward. Any other safeguards that we're going to see in place? Things to be. I know you can't be fully transparent with everything that CGC does on the inside, but to me personally, my biggest concern is sometimes the lack of transparency of why this happened, how this happened, how all those questions, the who, what, when, where, and why. But anything else you can speak to on going forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's this situation, even though it involves a small number of books and one individual, it's obviously a very serious situation. This was a very sophisticated and deceptive tampering that was going on, and we intend on prosecuting this individual to the fullest extent of the law. And I think obviously because it's the right thing to do, it also sends a message to the community that CGC is not going to allow its service to be taken advantage of to defraud collectors.
Like I wish you would have said, and CGC is not a dupe. So that was everything I just said. I don't like. Unfortunately, Dave is trying to get some real answers from him, and anytime he asks them, dude, I can't really say. So then at the very last one that I've clipped, he says, I know you're not really allowed to talk, but and he doesn't say anything. I'm very dissatisfied with this interview. And I don't know if it's necessarily because of the hosts. Maybe it would have been a little bit better if it was just a one-on-one situation. I don't know. There's your drama. There's your real drama. Something that really affects comic book collecting. And I guess I'll just play that. Do I have it again? Yeah, I do. I'll just play it one more time.
Good.
Oh, if you all didn't know, quarterly taxes are coming up right now for your local comic store. Come on and pick up your stuff. That's definitely one of the things that irks comic book store owners. More importantly, if you can't make it in and you need us to pause, we're way more forgiving later on and would welcome you back with open arms, and we understand. But as your pile builds and we are reluctant or don't get, well, we're reluctant sometimes to call, or we do call, and we're reluctant to stall the process of ordering. I mean, this is real talk here. So we let it build up 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Oh my God, what do I need to do? Then that person comes in. But maybe that's on the 4th month and I stopped holding stuff. And I've already established I feel bad even for the Ultimate Spider-Man situation. And sometimes it's other, like, think about it, it's like 3 months later and I have this Ultimate Spider-Man on hold for you and you haven't come in. Plus there's a 2 and a 3 and I can sell all 3 to this fool right here. What am I supposed to do? Communication with your comic store. That's all we want in the comic stores, communication. Don't interrupt. Try to add something fun. Let's not bring the outside world into something that, you know, just let's enjoy comic books. We can bitch, we can gripe. Something didn't go right. The story affects somebody you don't, you know, you do or don't like. Someone's in that you're not a fan of. Come on in and pick up your comics. And for those of you that are like, I don't want to buy comics anymore, but I love this show, or I really want to support another comic store out there without getting any shit sent to me. Well, you don't want to be like George Costanza.
You know, my last name is Costanza. That's Italian. So you and I are kind of like countrymen. Huh?
Paisanos.
650 your change. Ah, yes. And I always take care of my paisanos. So here's a little something.
Antonio!
Si!
Vieni qua! Questa miserabile patrona!
We've got a Patreon. Oh, it says that right there. We have an Instagram. Oh, don't do Facebook. Twitter, Substack. For as long as we can have a Substack, because who knows how long they're going to be around. We're using that as our not going to pay for MailChimp. And we have very, very funny newsletters that are store related, but also letting you know about stuff. A couple of, we'll call them issues ago, we were talking about Mr. Boop, where this artist did stories about Mr. and Betty Boop. And it's crazy. I had a customer come in and talk to me about it, and I couldn't remember anything. Even though I knew about it, I didn't write it. But I couldn't remember everything. And so, like, as I was getting everything wrong, but it was kind of like skirting around what was actually happening, I was being refreshed. Very, very funny stuff. We talk about the Transformers and all sorts of stuff. So follow our Substack. It's free. But what isn't free is our Patreon page. And this is almost the end of the show, but stick around. Thank you to all our patrons. These are ex-customers, friends of ours, people that follow the show, just people that are super cool. Thank you very much. Maybe you forgot that you're a subscriber to our channel. We don't say that we're going to give you anything, and we very rarely do. but sometimes it's going to happen. Bank on it. We're way better than a crowdfunder. We're way better than Scout. For those of you that didn't know, I have one copy left of Axe Wielder John. It is a $40 book, and it is written and drawn by Nick Pitara. Awesome stuff. If you're inclined to like Conan and fairy tales that are vicious with people throwing axes and all sorts of maiming and sometimes sensitive language, definitely sensitive language. I was kind of shocked, actually, because, that's something we would have said in 2002 a little bit more. But I'm allowing it, and I'm looking forward to seeing where hopefully the next book will come out sooner. We'll go. But yeah, so thank you to all our patrons out there. You really helped us out this month, I'll have you know. There wasn't a lot of offerings in the early part of the year, and still there's some scant offerings some weeks coming forward. So, I was, I needed a few extra bucks, and you made it happen. Also, anybody that orders from us online, thank you very much. Lane, I got this book here for you. Maybe we can add on. What you guys think of my CGC review, or the Dave Engers review with the CGC Matt Nelson guy? I'm not really trying to take apart the reviewers, other than I don't read Comic Guy. But the other guy, it seemed like he was like going for it, and he had some interesting things to ask. And Matt Nelson, I don't think really responded quite appropriately. When I'm in that situation talking about my Togo situation, I'll have wished I had his writers, his speechifiers. All right, let's see here. All right, let's see. I saw the Dreadnoks. The fun of it all. Oh my. All that plastic, all that waste in the world. Do we really, I look at my collection and I don't even think of the story or the art. I just think about the space that it takes up. And I know Jill does too, and she's so awesome. But I'm working, and some of it's work, and a lot of it's work, but it's just impossible to put it all out. It's kind of like doling and figuring out who cares. And I've got a lot of it, and I would love to share it with everybody, but I couldn't even get to a mother's basement this episode. All right, let's see. I wanted the purple tape grade. Walk, I can't put that up. Fuck Avengers. Is that not a good channel? I love that guy's voice. I think he's wonderful. I should smoke less and have a little honey before the show, I think. Duke City Explorer. Is the guy wearing the LA hat intoxicated, asking for a friend? Are we talking about me? I'm hardly intoxicated. But if Walk's answering that, I'm just an asshole, yes. Did I miss what upsets Yule? I was upset about someone trying to sell me a competitor's variant cover of various comic books. That was the big one. The let's come together upset was just have a conversation with your comic store owner. Let us know what's going on. Shit. I mean, if this thing can't sell, if when you're ready to come back, you can probably just come on in and get it. You know what I mean? It's taking up space, though, and that's really what it comes down to. The money we're already out, but the future money that we continue to lose for not having conversation monthly, in the very least, with the comic store, can be very, very, very stressful, and needlessly so. I mean, you should just be cut off. You know what I mean? But we care about you all. Hopefully. You know, I feel like when I was watching some of that Mark Miller conversation, I was looking at bigwigs like, you know, of a Walmart, you know, those comic stores. And, you know, I mean, obviously they have very important things to say, and they buy a majority of the comic books. And if you're talking about people that maybe didn't sell out of Ultimate Spider-Man, it's probably Lone Star Comics. It has an online site. It's probably Midtown Comics. It has an online site. It's probably a store that has, you know, 7 freaking stores in an area. And so they can order the 100 or 200 or 300 and just, you know, spread it out accordingly. Get the variants because they're ordering for one store. What a racket that is. The rich get richer. Except today, Joe H. Yeah, sorry, Steve. Rogue Comics, things I hate about my customers when they come in and regurgitate stupid shit they hear from streamers on YouTube. That's right. Do they really do that though? Because I will hear people that will say some things, and there will be some people that will say people's names. Like I heard of Diversity in Comics or Zach or whatever it was. I can't remember even. I know them obviously, and I don't hide the fact that I don't know them. When I was looking to like be regular talking about comic books, I had to watch people, and I feel like that's what a lot of people don't want to do out there. And it's to their own. I had a buddy that would always say, "Look, as a writer, any writer that's, especially writers that are published, people that have made it, there's a reason why they made it. There's something to glean from anybody, and even if they're like Dean Koontz, there's something to get from them. You know what I mean?" And by streamers, I mean streamers on YouTube. I'm talking about those who don't own comic book stores. Well, I mean, we're a rare breed, you know what I mean? We are on the front line. And let's just see. We're just not in the front line. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I mean, you know, I sold out of Ultimate Spider-Man like almost every other comic store in my area did. I ordered more than others, and I hear people say they couldn't sell Gods, and I sell that very well. So I feel I have a clique. I got a family. If nothing disrupts this family other than new customers, and I mean really 5 or 10 will really suffice. 15, 20, I got to start thinking about something. But, you know, I dare you to come into my shop. We're in Berkeley, Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 5 p.m. There's all sorts of fun stuff going on. Sometimes I have beers with people outside. We're going to get more sun soon. The Dodgers have 2 crazy, awesome Japanese players, and the Giants have a Korean. It's going to be a great baseball season as the daylight lasts longer. The store stays open longer. I just can't wait. Now I understand spring is just, it's just coming. It's right around the corner, everybody. We can get through this. There are some really good stuff going on right now. Pick up Avengers tomorrow. I think you Marvel fans are going to be really happy with it. And, you know, maybe you're like your Dark Knight fans might get a kick out of it also. Thank you very much to all my patrons out there. Thank you all to my subscribers of the channel. Thank you to everybody that shows up live. Thank you to everybody that shows up after the fact. And we'll see you next week.
Dusty, go on over to that piano.
Oh, no.
No.
I haven't played in so long. I couldn't. Been a long time.
All right. We're going to do a little number for you, but remember, we're a bit rusty, so bear with us. Just like the old days.
All right.
Maestro?
My little buttercup has the sweetest smile. Dear little buttercup, won't you stay a while? Come with me where moonbeams paint the sky, and you and I might linger in the sweet by and by. Oh, dear little buttercup, with your eyes so blue. Oh, little buttercup, you're a dream come true. You and I will settle down in a cottage built for two. Dear little buttercup, I love you. Everybody! My little buttercup has the sweetest smile. Dear little buttercup, won't you stay a while? You and I will settle down in a cottage built for two. Dear little buttercup, sweet little buttercup, my little